Welcome to 76301, the science behind the living world. I'm Michael Fenton, the writer for this course, and I'm a scientist who's retrained as a teacher. You know, one of the good things about having a time machine, if you could get one to work, would be you could travel to any place or time in history and experience the way the world was then. For instance, in biology, you go back and look at dinosaurs and see the way they really behaved and what colour they really were, what did they really eat. Because in my mind as a scientist, there's more to understanding the world than just reading a collection of other people's discoveries or so-called facts. So in this course, we'd like you to get your hands dirty. We can't give you a time machine, but we'd like you to experience some science for yourself. Now, practical work is a very important part of doing science. You might notice from my messy lab here at home that even when I'm making gadgets for my own children, I have to do a lot of investigating to see how things work and then by trial and error myself. So in this course, in terms of the nature of science, we'd like you to explore different strategies for investigating in biology and carry out a small-scale living world investigation of your own. Now this brings up an interesting question. What is the difference between biology on one hand as a science discipline and the living world as a curriculum on the other? This course invites you to come to your own understanding about these competing tensions. On the one hand, biology is an objective body of knowledge, a product of scientists. But on the other hand is the living world curriculum. It's a product of politicians, teachers and educational researchers. As a curriculum, it represents social, political and economic themes of the times that they were created in. So how is it that we can accommodate these two opposing views? Well, one way we've dealt with this in this course is to split the course into 3 sections. In this first section, you'll be in the role of being a scientist, and you'll build on your body of knowledge of biology by doing science. On the way, you'll have a chance to explore the different strategies for investigation that biologists use as they investigate the world around them. Now, the forums are going to help you with this. Now don't worry, you don't need a lot of equipment to do your own small-scale investigation. It could be as simple as watching the grass grow. And in the second section, you'll be more in the role of a student of science, exploring the body of knowledge that was built up by scientists that came before us. Through self-directed learning, you'll add to your knowledge of biology, in particular as it relates to the living world curriculum. And while we've suggested some readings and suggested some key ideas for you to think about, feel free to explore any of the resources as deeply as you wish, and particularly as you find it supports your own learning and understanding of science. In terms of the nature of science, you might like to reflect as you go through the material, how was this knowledge investigated? And in the final section, you'll be back in the role of a teacher of science. You'll be taking a closer look at a range of science teaching resources, looking at different aspects and levels, in particular as it relates to the living world curriculum. You'll also be looking at some case studies and seeing as you'll probably be working with colleagues who teach students that are at a higher or lower level than yourself, it's a good idea to explore how you might adapt resources to cope for these sorts of students. Here's where I think the forums will be of great assistance to you throughout the course. Through the forums, you can ask questions, you can debate answers, and generally support each other as you go. I think the more you involve yourself with others through the forums, the greater your understanding you'll have of your role as both a teacher and a student of science. So now it's time for you to go and do a bit of exploring. You can click on the site demonstration link or the orientation link so that you can find out more about the site, more about the course, and also more of what's expected of you. Now go ahead, you can't break anything, and I hope you really do enjoy the course.